Hello, everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Pat Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino, who's not here today. By the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer-term viewers and subscribers, please like the videos and leave some comments when you have a chance. Another rip your face off rally day, option expiration day. Hope you were trailing stops on longs. A lot of junk, highly shorted stuff got super squeezed. Is it over? Well, there has not been a pause and nothing's much changed in the Fed. Fed speakers trying to talk it down a bit today. Faster rate hikes, maybe a 50 basis point hike, start quantitative tightening ASAP as in May. So we shall see. Market didn't even blink an eye. So there we go. Everybody that I was talking to today was watching the yield curve. And this is we have the 30 20s negative, been negative for a while. The 10 sevens negative. Hold on, let me switch cameras here and I'll tell you why this is important. 10 sevens negative. These on this platform just closed up a bit, but they were negative most of the day, and they're virtually negative. So that was the 10 fives. And look at these 10 twos rolling over big time again. Now they are not negative yet, but they are closing in on negative shortly in the next, some people think within the next few weeks. If not sometime in April, they could turn negative. So that's very interesting. Why is that interesting? Especially these, if the 10 twos go negative, because that's one of the things the Fed watches. And if it stays negative for close to a month, they normally start loosening market conditions. Now we've got one rate hike in and QE just rolled off. And now that's what a lot of this stuff's going on. Literally, there's a lot of people out there saying, this is going to go negative in April, and then by the May meeting, it will have been negative for a month, and they'll have to ease off. They'll have to go back to QE, and they'll have to start with rate cuts this summer. So they get one and done, and even if they got in May's, they'd be taking it off in June with more QE. So let's celebrate. Let's buy the junk back. Let's just go and party like it's 1999. Hey, Sterling, you're not buying it yet? There'll be trades around this. Again, if you're long, all you can do is trail out at this point. Amazon, hey, Abraham, how are you doing? Amazon closed under 32.30. If you want me to take a quick look at that, I can. Lots of stocks pumping or dumping on high volume in the final 10 minutes. And we will see. The macro picture, nothing has changed. We had options expiration. This was just, it even shocked me. Choppy first thing, where it was chopping, then trying to find more of a direction, and then it just went into complete strong rally mode. That's why you got to trade what is. I thought it would be choppier, but again, here's your, you got this little pause right by the highs from yesterday, and then this, look at this. I watched that 15-minute. Not much of a pause, little pause during lunch, let the 8 catch up concept. We talked about 8 pushing the price, and just a massive rally in the afternoon. I'd really recommend that, you get it around lunchtime, switch that 15-minute. It can provide, but look at this 5-minute rotation zone. Once we started rallying again, this was that little pause at lunch, but hugging the 5-minute, and this was just a massive rally. So S&P coming up definitely above the 62.5. So I am going to watch for some continued, to probably say we could get some continued follow through price action. Even that's not saying it has to happen Monday. We could definitely get a pause or a pullback. It's getting very overextended from the daily rotation zone into overbought conditions. So I'm really going to have to gauge things on the next pullback. Normalcy? What? I don't know what you mean, Rich. Coming up right at that 75% harmonic and the 200. So it did return to that 200. Simple, remember, use the simple. Well, from our testing, the simple works out better than the exponential for key levels. This is going to be really interesting. I'm not going to do a lot of analysis going into today. We'll do that on Sunday afternoon. Just wanted to give an overview and see what people were looking at. Nasdaq. Again, closing just above the 50. There were those harmonics on the Nasdaq. See, breaking above the key level and then running. I did not think we'd get to that harmonic. 14,429, 14,430 was my next harmonic, and actually ending the day there. So that was quite an impressive rally, and you can see that hugging the 8 on the 15-minute. Here's the 5-minute rotation zones. Those were the only super aggressive trades into this momentum afternoon. So I'm just moving these levels out of the way again. We will do a lot of analysis on Sunday. The Dow getting up to the next harmonic level, 34,637, and then ending just above it. Also, I don't even have to keep repeating myself, but I will. Massive rally day. Not quite getting to 200, so there's a little more room to run on the Dow. So really nice with that double trade and then the continued just run up. This is why I like to trail out in these situations, because it can go a lot farther and a lot faster. But again, word is we're not going to get any more rate hikes, and we're going to have to go to QE, which I don't buy at all. I think they were actually letting people know, hey, we're going to have to move harder and faster than you think. And you better be prepared for that. But market just shrugging it off. Also, we had massive with the options expiration. This was the biggest at and near the money options expiration since 2019. Russell finally breaking above that 2052 level. It'll be interesting now. Remember, we had that double that turned into a quad bottom, but getting into a clear path move. So are there potential moves still higher? Yeah, we would just have to see. Crude coming up here again, 4-hour little double bottom. You see we stalled out, pulling back that 4-hour rotation zone and rotating up nicely. So now, do we have a potential double top? Yes, we do. Again, we'll look at that more thoroughly on Sunday. But let's see. But it is completely valid. So, but that's, we'd have to trade down. Triple Witch made it difficult to predict. Look short next week. I think we will pull back next week. Okay, I completely agree with you, Rich. But again, I have to trail out because nothing's changed in the macro sense. And I think longer term, we're going to get a lot of bank ramifications from this. And yes, technically it was Triple Witch. We still call it Quad Witch because when there was used to be 4 sets of expirations until that single stock option exchange went down in 20. So everybody still calls it on March, June, September, December. It's still quad witching as everybody still refers to it. I have a good number of long-term shorts that still aren't near their stops, hoping we can keep it that way. Yeah, maybe, but you want to talk about junk? Let me just peek at some other stuff. Gold, nice little pullback again. I'm going to be watching for another pullback to this level to see if it gets a potential little double in there. Silver, running back, not quite that neckline, and rolling back over. So we shall check that out on Sunday. Again, notes pretty much just paused today. Here's that daily. You see inside bar on the notes. So we had the massive sell-off in notes, 2-day sideways, letting the rotation zones catch up. I'm still expecting on the daily for 8 to push the price, and it can still be in an area to rotate back down. Dollar index. Double top, which confirmed but is not triggered, is still in play. Tesla continued, got it actually up to that 904.74 harmonic. Didn't think that would happen either. Final push end of the day and stopping there. That's why I love these gosh darn things for targets. If that continues higher next week, 938, 940 area is it. But getting close to overbought condition. I'll show you some other stuff. Oh, Twitter. Has anybody been watching that? Again, something that does not make any money. Pretty decent run up until the end of the day and then just got sold. I think that's a telltale sign of I'm going to see how this reacts on a little pullback. But again, if rotation into junk is going to stick, there might be a couple more very short-term plays in this. If not, this was getting out of stuff that people do not want to carry. Here's another one. This massive short squeeze, there's still 7 days of short interest to cover. Another one, though, that if you watch, big run up and then end of day, just let me out of it. The WeWork, complete garbage. But we saw these, especially these non-profitable, most shorted companies. I'm still going to be looking at WeWork next week in case this rally does still have legs and we do get on. And this would be not something I'd be holding overnight, but for intraday price momentum, definitely could be an interesting play if we still getting that run up in Nasdaq junk. DD, I mean this is just insane. And that did not sell off the end of the day, but still back to where it was trading in the middle of February after its big dump, filling that gap. So that's where we sit. I increased my downside hedge today by 25%. Well, that's, yeah, I'll be looking for, this also wiped out all these there's so many puts that expired worthless today after being really in the money. So it's going to be interesting to see if now people reestablish their hedges or not. I'm betting not, which then people aren't hedged. And remember, the goal of the market is to inflict the most pain possible. And it is inflicting pain on people. Microsoft, back above the 50 and straight to that 200. Where am I looking at it? There's no double here. But my next area I would be interested on a very short-term play is about 303, the defining point for this trend line. Why? We have this little clear path move and a partially unfilled gap. See here, you partially unfilled gap. So I will be keeping on that next week. But if it starts rolling over, I'm not keen on shorting Microsoft at this point. But it could be then for a nice little pullback play. Again, things are gotten really interesting with this. What else? GLTB. GTLB. I didn't look at that one. Woo! Woo! GitLab. See, none of this stuff has changed at all. And again, it's complete no price to earnings. Why? Why does it have no price to earnings? Because it has no earnings. I mean, it has no decent earnings. It has no look. I mean, price to it's still negative, so you can't have a PE ratio. What happened with Shop at the end of the day? Nothing. I didn't see anything happen with Shop. There's another one. Again, I didn't point this out earlier, but there was a little double earlier in the week that just ran beyond the targets. Again, all this stuff right off that harmonic. You see the harmonic that was there. So that was a lot of this stuff now is going to be interesting on rollover plays again. That's why some of this stuff, once it does peter out, is going to be great setups for short plays again, because nothing's changed with these companies. And these stock prices, again, if you look at price to earnings, it's back to 28.74. It's going to roll over again. What else do we have? UPS double bottom, back double top. Let's see. Let's take a look. UPS, yep, there's that double bottom did trigger. And with that nice little pullback move, so that's going to be interesting. Here's your double play in that. Completely valid first and second targets. And even it could run, it's completely double because these are within the candles, but that final target is back to the highs. So that will be an interesting play. Gave a pullback entry today. Back again. This, even sitting right here, I'm watching for another downside play in back, especially if it starts breaking below about 41.80. Again, I'm looking for a rollover move in back. XPEV. Little bounce. I'm going to be watching for another rollover play in this one too with a gap fill. I know there's some people who are very bullish, but this returning to the daily rotation zone finally. Still, this could still run a little more, but I will watch for eventually a rollover play in this. Once we do start breaking, especially down below about 25 again. If you were playing to the upside, though, at this point, you have a little more on this prior pausing bar harmonic, and it could not get a close above that 21. But if you were playing it for a bit more upside, next target to move up a stop would be 30.33, and then major area would be about 32.17. So what? Let's see. Mike, what are your thoughts on SPX moving forward as we hit the upper trend line on the downward channel on the SPX and the cash? I mean, we're beyond the trend lines. I'm really watching this harmonic now. When things got super juiced, I see that's my trend line. And we're clearly above it. We're at the key area, and I'll go back to the futures. We're at that key area with returning to the 200. So it's going to be interesting. How am I going to gauge this? I'm going to be watching to see how it reacts for the pullback. If it's a shallow pullback and a push higher, we could easily return to 45.28 level. Easily. If the pullback starts breaking back down below about 43.30, then I'm starting to target lower prices. Right now, it's sort of in no man's land, and this being the Fed week and options expiration week, I'm really going to have to see how it starts reacting going in on Monday. Yep, nothing's changed. I'm still looking for lower prices. This doesn't change it yet. And with the caution to the wind and everybody, especially with the Fed speakers today, really solidified it. They were super hawkish, super hot, leaving nothing. And Cash, I call him Cash and Carry, but Neil Kashikari, and he's been dovish recently, and he was even, very hawkish. So I think they're letting the markets know that they got to fight this inflation, and they're not backing down easily. That's not what's circulating on the street, though. The street, well, with a lot of these younger traders it's going to be done. Meaning not the markets. It's going to be done. They're going to have to start putting back in QE, and it's going to be back to the punch bowl, the party punch bowl, coming this summer. So that's already go. Let's get on the band. And this also was just a massive short squeeze in a lot of these heavily shorted, unprofitable company names. But what's interesting is one of the things I'm going to be watching for is like I showed you, WeWork. Okay, there is still 7 days to cover on this. So yeah, could it pause again? But if this starts getting a rally and gets money rolling into it again with a 7-day cover ratio, it could pop even more, which is completely insane. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You got to trade the price action. Now, longer term, the question I was just asked, yeah, am I going back to bull camp? No, none of the systems say it. None, and I'm talking longer term. But remember, you can get these massive rallies. You even remember this rally? Back at the end of January? When everybody was like, hey, the worst is over, the worst is over. Boom, 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 boom. Uh-oh. So, could we even go higher? Could we make this 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 days? Could we come back to the, on the Nasdaq, could we get back to the 200, 15,100? Sure. But that's just within this 50 to 62.5% rollover zone again. Let's see, AMZN. You want me to look at Amazon? Yeah, Amazon. Remember, I talked about these gap fill. Once above this was a nice little play, 31.61. Then I was watching for the gap fill, which the gap filled out. So that's where we sit with that. STNE. Did not look at that. I've just been glancing. Why I'm laughing here is because on all these ones that are super up, I always look at the PE ratio, and when there's a little dash there, that's why it's so funny, because of so many of these super up ones back from the dead. Well, these are going to be great gap fills again. There's going to be some massive gap fills plays, and I'm not saying for Monday. I'm saying there are going to be some massive gap fill plays on some of these. So that's why I will be watching for. Let's see, Mike on the SPX. Breaking above the double since Wednesday for the extensions. You pick the most recent low for Monday and extend to today's close for the levels if we get above the 200 MA. Let me just do it on the futures. So on the futures, you should go from this low for the most recent low from this run up. So you say I'm going from this low to the end of day here. I mean, we didn't get a longer term pausing bar, but I don't really have a longer term pausing bar, so that's the best I could do at this point since we hit all the other targets. That's how insane this was. So I'm going from this. The March 15th is the best area to use it from there with the 200. Now we get a little pause, Sunday night once this reopens again. Once this reopens, and let's say we get a little pullback in Asia and we get at least a 4-hour pausing bar. Let's say we eke out a little high, then pull back. I will adjust it to that, at least the pausing bar, hopefully on a 4-hour time frame. So if we eked out a little higher, it would raise the levels a bit. But this gives you a rough ballpark. And above here, above about 44.71, you're into another clear path move. Now, that being said, we will probably pull back. I mean, look how extended we are. Even the 4-hour rotation zone is back at this 4,400. And the daily rotation zone, first cross, is back at 43.30. So that's where we said, hey, Abraham, thank you very much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so if you don't mind, I'm going to keep it a little shorter today. It has been a long week, and I will then be around on Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time. 3 p.m. Central Time, everyone. Bring your stocks, bring your questions. We will do a more thorough analysis to really prep ourselves. I just want to recap stuff so it's fresh in my mind on Friday, but then do my really hardcore analysis going in on Sunday after I've looked at all the sectors, after I've glanced at a bunch of stocks. So, and I'm not going to sit here for the next hour and do that right now. I need a break. So again, thank you very much for watching this. Thank you, Amit. Again, big shout out to Abraham for the super chat. And please join me on Sunday afternoon. We'll look at some more of your stocks. And we will look at anything else you want to check out. Let me just glance at one thing. I did not look. I was so busy today. I'm still checking. See, Bitcoin's still caught in my range. I just wanted to see what cryptos did. But we will look at those even on Sunday. So if anybody's interested in that, and for people who are trading Tesla, we'll do a little more thorough analysis of that. I'm working on the courses, and we'll probably be rolling out some additional services in the near future. We're just working through this. The challenge recently has been, again, my first and foremost is trading and everything else. Because that's why I try to teach as much for free that I can. Because it just takes a lot of time to record stuff. But you will be getting new stuff, and there'll probably be some more new service offerings coming out in a while, once things calm down a bit. Thank you, Eric. I hope you have a wonderful weekend too. Again, be safe, be happy, and have a fantastic week, couple days or day and a half away from the computers. Bye for now.